Hey guys, and welcome to episode 11 of Mix Up. And today we're going to be talking about a very under-talked about deck in the TCG, mainly because there isn't really a need to talk about it. It basically writes its own book. You can make it however you want. There's really no guidelines on how to make it. And that deck is, of course, from the title you've most likely guessed, Mew Prime box, or Mew Toolbox, or Mewbox, or whatever it's called. It's Mew Prime, and several decks, not several decks, but entire decks have been based around its very incredibly useful power. Lost Link, which allows it to use the attacks of Pokemon in the Lost Zone, both players, as long as you have the energy, of course. But Mew Prime hasn't been very great in the metagame for a while. Basically, when it first came out, it was used as a Gengar Prime card in Lost Gars occasionally, and Mewbox wasn't really that popular of a deck at the time. I mean, some popular players were using it, but it was mainly 1.5 tier to 2.0. Never saw any major, amazing, astounding things. But if you don't know what it does, basically, you use some cards to get Pokemon in the Lost Zone, and then you use power Lost Link to use their attacks. This is mainly used to set up higher stage Pokemon that are very difficult to get out, or Pokemon with higher retreat costs that would be difficult to set up. So basically, using Mew Prime, you can use, like, say you have a Magnezone Prime, Mewtwo EX, and what else? And like Absol Prime. You can do all these things. You can do like tons of attacks, tons of super powerful attacks, and only with a basic Pokemon. But it does have some pretty bad stats, and Next Destinies almost made it worse because of its awful psychic weakness. And it's 60 HP, which is awful. Even with Eviolite, it's probably going to get one hit KO'd. So, what am I talking about today? It seems like if I said it's a pretty basic deck, then what the heck do I have to add to it? Something, obviously. Right. Okay, so yeah, Next Destinies are actually a few cards that helped Mew Prime out tremendously, and one of these was Special Energy, Prism Energy, because with it provides every type of energy to basic Pokemon. So say you have a Magnezone Prime, if you give them 2 Prism Energy, that obviously won't allow them to attack, but if you give 2 of them to Mew Prime, then you can use Magnezone's Lost Burn. So if you just attach 4 Prisms to your Mew Prime, you can basically use any attack in the game that doesn't cost like 5 energy, like Gyarados' old attack, like Stormfront Gyarados. But anyway, or Steelix Prime, I guess, is a more accurate description nowadays. Prism Energy definitely helps Mew out, but since you can only run 4, you're still probably going to want to run Rainbow Energy if you have a very wide variety of cards in your Mew box. Another card, not technically card, but cards are not very helpful, but they're definitely they could give Mew a very big rise in popularity, and that is the EXs in general. Here I have Zekrom EX, but most of them work pretty well. But you might think, well, what do they do? I mean, they're EXs, duh, they work fine by themselves, there's no problem with them, they're basics, they're easy to set up. Why would you need Mew Prime at all? It just seems redundant. Make a basic, use a basics attack, but with worse HP. But you're forgetting one thing, the EX rule. When you put, say, a Zekrom EX in the Lost Zone with C off or Absol Prime or something, and then you use their attacks, you can use their super duper powerful attacks and their super easy acceleration, like Emboar and Typhlosion for Reshiram, or Electric for Zekrom, or whatever, or Gardevoir for Mewtwo, but yeah, I guess Gardevoir for Mewtwo. But you don't have to go up to 2 prizes. So say, like, you're in a Mewtwo duel, and you keep exchanging prize cards, but if you're using Mew Prime with a Mewtwo X in Lost Zone, you're going to take a lot more prizes than your opponent, because they've been draining their 2 prize Mewtwo X's. They'll take 1 prize each turn. You'll probably take 2 prizes each turn. Or something like Zekrom EX. This is actually a very good card to put Zekrom EX, because one of the problems with Zekrom EX is its retreat cost with its, obviously, electrics, power to build up the bench. instead of building up the active, so you have to use something clunky like Switch to actually build up another Zekrom EX. So like swap out for a Cleffa, then Dynamotor to Zekrom EX and build it up again, then swap out to use Strongbolt again. But with Mew Prime, since it has 0 retreat cost, and you don't need to get multiple of these set up at the same time, you could have one Mew Prime active, and use Strongbolt with the energy cost, discard the Lightnings, then on your next turn, you play another Mew Prime down, you double Dynamotor to that, and then attach a double Colorless Retreat, and boom, that's another Strongbolt right off the bat. So you can consistently pull off 150 damage, that's a lot easier. So, but again, it will be knocked out really early, especially with the Mewtwo EX giving it a run for its money. Sorry about that. Even Eviolite won't save it. Also, another thing that you can't really use with Mew Prime is Reshiram EX, because if you flip Tails, it actually does weakness damage. So, say you get Tails on Brave Fire, I think it's called. It's his second attack. If you get Tails, then it does 100 damage to Mew Prime. We'll knock it out, even with an Eviolite. Just dead. That's really, really bad, especially if it's your main attacker for the entire game. And it's specifically designed around everything to power up Mew and its ridiculous power. So yeah, I think the EX is definitely a thing I'd like to try out with Mew, because it's just a really interesting idea. With the free retreat compared to the higher retreat cost EXs, except for I guess Shaman, and the ability to not take the second prize card definitely gives Mew Prime a very big spot in our metagame now, definitely putting it up to 1.5, if not higher, probably not higher, since Durant is considered 1.5 by some people, and it's not better than Durant. It's not going to be winning regionals, which is tomorrow, if you're watching this live, but the same day it comes out. So definitely test out. So definitely give Mewbox a second chance if you get the chance. If you couldn't tell, I don't have any Mew Primes, but if you do have some, definitely test them out with some EXs. And of course, the Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem are ridiculously easy to get with the tin promos and such. So if you have the Mew Prime, definitely test out the deck. Any kind of combination Mewtwo EXs. That's the beauty of Mew. There's no clear cut Mew build. You can put whatever you want in it, just good, powerful attackers. And you could always just put it in your higher stage 1 deck to use the power of the higher stage ones and build them up. But again, really have to be wary of that 60 HP. It's gonna get knocked out repeatedly. Just saying. Thanks for watching this episode of Mix Up. And next week we'll be talking about another popular deck. It's probably going to be a little longer and a little more focused on text than a specific type of Mewbox, or a specific type of that deck. Not 100% sure what it will be, but stay tuned for that anyway. See you guys next time. And I will be going to regionals, so hope to see you there. I'll be at the Pennsylvania Convention Center one, and it's going to be awesome. Biggest tournament I've ever been to. Probably the biggest one I'll ever be to this year at least, or this season at least. Definitely not going in Worlds. And Nationals, probably not. Well, whatever. I don't really care. That's how I play for the fun of it. Not really for the prizes. But anyway, see you guys next time. Next episode, Mix Up. More, let's mix it up. Later. Man, this deck is never going to work. I'm just feeding these idiots chow to... Still recording, isn't it? I'm ruined.